Hi, Sagittarius. You ever notice how some people are just so small inside? You ever notice how magnanimous and expansive you are inside? You ever feel like the distance between those two types of personalities is too vast for you to cross? It's important to follow the rules. For Sages, it's usually important to follow the rules when they don't want to. If you're dealing with a married person, you might have to pay for that. If you are some way triangulated in someone else's relationship, that comes to a head as well. And it comes to a head as in secrets are revealed and cuts are made. This is all starting now. Retrograde reading, go. Pisces, Mercury retrograde in Pisces is going to force this sword on your interpersonal relationships. So if you have something going on with someone who you shouldn't for one reason or another, it's time to either graciously let it go and understand the part it played in your life and move forward quietly, or you challenge the universe to use the sword itself. Ooh, I wouldn't do that. Now, if you're dealing with a Libra, especially if you're married to one, and you're almost positive that there's something that they're hiding, the retrograde's going to show you. Just relax, just observe. Don't do a thing. Really. Ace of Swords is also about new ideas. New ideas that are coming in to replace whatever the moon has exposed as inadequate. You may also find that you are a bit overbearing in the work sector because you really feel like you know what you know. And why is anyone arguing with you? This can lead to quite some pain, but also perhaps the dissolution and leaving of a partnership. So you want to be really careful how you manage your need to perhaps criticize, but also to change things rapidly. The Empress and the Queen of Swords. A lot of very powerful intellectual and financial energy around you. You are more than capable of taking hold of it, receiving it, and doing the best with it. This is also about the dominant females in your life and how they are communicating with you about your life and what you're doing. And from this, it looks like they're trying to chastise you a bit because, and I would say this just from looking at the cards and not even realizing this was a Sag reading, I would say you might be reading too much into a love relationship. You might be hoping that it would be something more, will become something more. But inside, you know, and these two energies here have shown you over and over again that it's not that. Let's see here. The Queen of Wands. Okay, so another queen. Okay, all right. This is going to be really pleasing to look at. And then the Six of Swords and the Hanged Man. If you push those in a position of authority, even though you have authority, they may just want to get rid of you. And then what are we going to do? Or you may just want to quit and then feel really stuck because you quit instead of compromising, or you quit instead of. So, the way out is not really the way out at all. The way out is to do the right thing, let whatever wants to be exposed by that moon card, by the Mercury retrograde in Pisces, let whatever it is come up. Don't sacrifice big, huge parts of yourself that you can't get back just because you want to show a certain energy. It's just not authentic. Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll just pain you. It's a painful way to be. It's a painful way to communicate. All the pretending and the lying, everything is fine, everything is fine, everything is fine. You know, but inside, inside everything is not fine because you're clinging here to an idea that either someone put in your head and you guys created it together, or you just always had it because you're a natural romantic. You're holding on to this ideal. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's actually, I don't know if I can make more sense of these without showing them to you. So, let's look at them. Mwah. Welcome to the second part of your reading, Sagittarius. The sound of construction, which may continue here and there, is now going to be replaced by the sound of children playing. Oh, how apt it all is. You see, to us, this reading is late. Perhaps the retrograde is to blame, and perhaps it's just life. But without a few $1 million in production, I couldn't get the sound of heavy-duty construction and the sound of children playing in a rooftop garden to me. I'm sure you can appreciate that as the Sagittarius that you are. And how much it says about you and what you need to be doing. Let's start at the beginning. Justice. There are a few things karmically that you're waiting on. A few people you feel perhaps deserve it. A few maybe boons you feel you deserve. Right? And then there's the Three of Pentacles. I think there's something very specific that you feel you deserved. Pisces season begins with a new approach, a new idea, a new venture, usually made room for by cutting something away. If there is a Libra or a Pisces in your life that you have had to move away from, and if you feel that there is something pulling you back there that you desperately want to cut yourself off from, it's coming through very clearly in that first line. If you have a happy, stable marriage, whether it be with a Libra or not, prepare yourself for this Pisces retrograde bringing you together, a group of new ideas, perhaps a new way to understand each other. If you were single, this first part is deeply about regret. Something that you wish would have worked. You kind of knew it wasn't going to, but momentarily it did, and then you let yourself believe, and then the sword was so sharp, and ow, and yikes, and why, and here we are. Regardless of your status, if you are able to bear children or would like them, this is a good month. If you are able to bear children and would not like them, be careful.
It's also a time of connecting with the powerful feminine in your life, wherever you find it, however you find it, within oneself for sure, regardless of how you identify. It is a time for you now in the Pisces retrograde soup that we're in to find yourself through that divine feminine power. At the very beginning of my channel, right at the very beginning, the first video is about the divine feminine and the power of manifestation. I suggest you watch it. Or listen to it, rather. Regardless of where you find your power and how, be it through expressing yourself very clearly to those in a position of authority, or by regaining your power through a more, let's say, direct means, the stalemate is broken, and we go from the hangman to movement, Six of Swords. So things begin to move in about a week and a half. What's the point of doing the reading if the whole reading is going to be these 4 cards? Just just different exemplifications of those 4 energies over and over again. That's not a reading. So, in about 6 or 7 days, you feel that like, all right, fine. I've said what I said. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I want, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm not going to do anymore, and that's it, and that's all, and I'm going. Now, how much of that fervor has behind it? How much of what you're communicating has behind it? Deep, deep pain of what has happened before, what you thought was going to... That pain that you feel, that's where all your expressions are coming from. That's where all your communication is coming from. But also, as soon as you tell people how it is and what you will and will not do, they back off. They're the ones coming back to you saying, hey, I'm sorry. Hey, we need that magic back. Can you please come back? We actually want to hold on to you. If you're trying to make a decision between staying in a project or leaving, and it comes down to money, as crazy as it sounds, if you stay in the project, you'll make a lot more. If you leave, you'll leave with a small amount and it will hardly be worth it. In week 3, you really are struggling to not be petty, to be patient, and to not play the short game. It's all about the long game. It has to be all about the long game. You have to do it this way. There's no other way to do it. What's the long game in a situation where an employer does not value you? Communication, accumulation of wealth until a better option is found and executed. Storming out of a sense of self-righteousness is not going to get you anywhere, even if you're right. Exerting that same power and control in a personal relationship, in your case now, it looks like the ability just to be able to say, okay, I get it, I understand. I was mistaken. I read the signals wrong. I either didn't think you were as deceptive as you turned out to be, or I thought you liked me and you don't. Well, whatever it is, I'm good. Let the Mercury retrograde secrets all come out, and let me not be afraid of this sword. And perhaps that's the lesson anyway. Perhaps the lesson of this retrograde season for you is just in learning how to love the sword. You already got arrows. You could use a sword. You could do that. But I think Sagittarius instinctively knows that arrows are safer than swords because there's only so much you can shoot yourself. And from only such a distance, where an arrow you can, where a sword you can do a lot of damage up close to yourself. So be mindful of that as well. Just because the universe hands you these new ideas, just because the universe hands you the ability to snip things where you want, be careful you don't cut yourself. I think that's why the Empress there is so important. Use that sword with the awareness of what lies within you, which is that Empress energy. Yes? Very good. All right, let's get right into the extended. Love you. Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your extended. Okay. First off, justice. Let's do it. Okay, so the Libras in your life, they're going through it. The karmic connections in your life are going through some big revisions, big ones. It makes you long for a simpler time. This is toothpaste that can't go back in